All right, welcome everybody to our Down and Dirty at 1:30 Central. This is Vishan Borich from Team Tough, and I'm so glad that you're here today. We're going to be talking about how to deal with distractions that are killing your productivity, which is one of the biggest complaints or discussions that I hear from some of my students. You know, they have these huge dreams and they want to be successful, and they love the idea of working from home. But the whole idea of working from home also brings with it a whole host of distractions, as I'm sure you're very aware of those. You know, everything from, you know, text messaging to email to children, if you have them at home, to on and on and on, spouses, in fact, laundry's calling you, you know, whatever it might be, there's always, you know, going to be distractions. So we're going to talk about some of those distractions today, and then how you can overcome them and really start having success in your life and in your business. Sound good? All right, great. I'm going to flip things around so that you can see my screen, and then I'll do some shout outs to those of you that are here live with me today. Let me get this flipped around. All right, there's my cover slide. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to click over and see who's live. If we've got anybody that's live yet, I started about 2 minutes after. Okay, looks like we're still got some people that haven't logged in. Be sure to log in down below within the chat window. That way I know you made it, that you're here, that you're live. Log in, even if you're watching this as a recording, and leave a comment. You know, let me know that you watched it, that you got value out of it, or that you didn't, so that I know how I can improve these Hangouts for you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. How to deal with distractions that are killing your productivity. And part of my theme for these lately is Mondays are never going to be the same. My goal is to make your Mondays some of the best days as far as improving your life and improving your business. And by the way, for everybody that's watching this live, if you're in the US, happy Independence Day, 4th of July. It's a wonderful day, holiday for a lot of folks, and we will be ourselves going to a 4th of July party here right after this Hangout. That's one of the nice things about working for yourself, is you can work whenever you want, wherever you want, as long as you have internet access, right? Or it's our phone that has internet access. And then, you know, with whoever you want to work with. And it's really allowed me to spend time with my own family and to do more of the things that I love. All right, so let's get started. So these are just some of the distractions that we have as business owners. And even if you're not yet your own business, you don't own your own business, these are probably some of the distractions that you have at work. I know when I used to work in corporate America, at the corporate offices where I worked, we had the capability to see where people were going on their computers. In other words, we could track exactly what websites that each of the employees looked at throughout the day. So, I mean, for those of you that don't know that, your employer can see that. If you're on a virtual private network or a VPN, as they call it, employers have the capability to see exactly what websites that you view. And the #1 website that got more traffic than anything else, see if you can guess what that is. I'll look in the comments here in just a minute to see if you guessed right. All right, the #1 website where everyone went to during the workday. If you guessed Facebook, you are right. That is it. We had over 70% of our online traffic within the corporate office that I worked in, and this was, I worked in the newspaper publishing industry, so this was newspapers all over the United States. And out of all of the thousands of employees that we had, over 70% of them were on Facebook daily, right? So that kind of gives you an idea as to where a lot of our distractions are coming from. So here are some of them, like I mentioned earlier, you know, email, text, telephones, your voicemail, instant messenger through Facebook, of course, Facebook, which we discussed. Snapchat's gotten really popular. A lot of folks are using that these days. Instagram, of course, Twitter, Pinterest, and then there's many, many more social media sites, but just the internet itself, it's so easy to be searching for something and then you get off on a tangent and see something that catches your eye, and next thing you know, you're on a different page and you're not even focused on what you set out to do. So I know we didn't really talk here today. We're not going to really go deep into how to deal with spouses and family members and things like that. I will be doing some additional training on that later. But today I want to focus on just your digital distractions, because those tend to take up even more time of your day than the other things that are going on. All right, so here's the question. It really isn't how do I deal with these distractions? That's not the question we're going to be answering today, but rather we're going to be talking about what is really important to me. That's what you should be asking yourself. What is really important to you? What are the things that you want to accomplish in your life, in your day, in your week, in your month? What do you want to accomplish? And once you have that, then we can start tackling this problem. Okay, so it really comes down to timing. So, and I wrote some notes here just so I wouldn't forget to share them with you. But when things happen at a time of their choosing, not ours, we call them distractions. So you get a text message, you're sitting here working away, and you get a text message that something's urgent, for example. Suddenly you have to pull your attention away from what you were doing in order to address that text message. So you see, in and of themselves, though, those distractions may not be wrong, but when they occur on their own timing and not your timing, that's when the problems start to happen. So, really it comes down to, okay, what do you really want? And how can you focus on those things that you want rather than letting all of the other millions of things that have the ability to take our focus away to distract you. So here's the kind of the rule of thumb that I use. Distractions only become bad when they rule your life. So if you're not accomplishing the things you want to accomplish in your life, then it's probably because you're letting those distractions rule your life. You're jumping from fire to fire to fire instead of proactively focusing on the things that are going to give you the most happiness, the most joy, the most benefit in your life. So let me give you a real life example, okay? So food in of itself is not bad, all right? It becomes bad. So here's, food. You got a woman that looks very healthy and fit, and, she has some healthy food in front of her. So, in of itself, we all have to eat, right? But it becomes bad when it rules your life. If it rules your life, you're eating, you're making poor choices, or you're making quick choices in order to fill your hunger. It can in fact shorten your life and take your energy away. All right, so that's when food, is the example I'm using right now, becomes something that's taking your energy away. It's ruling your life. And that's the same thing with other distractions. When you let those distractions rule your life and take you away from your primary focus, you basically are killing your dreams. You're killing your joy. You're killing your happiness. And whether your goal is to lose weight, and that's not really what this is about. I just wanted to give you an example that would be easily relatable. But if your goal is to lose weight, then you know that you have to eliminate distractions. In other words, junk food. You need to eliminate those being easy to access. You want to focus on those things that are going to give you the most success. So let me just, I want to reiterate this and pound it in. It's not the distractions themselves, it's their uncontrolled behavior that is the problem. So if it's out of control and you always feel like, I love it when people tell me that they're too busy. They're too busy to do something. Too many things are going on. They just can't get it done. And, the truth of the matter is, it's not that they're too busy. It's that they're too distracted. I wish people would be more honest and just say they're too distracted. Because if they really wanted something, they would make time for it. Okay? You would make the time for the things that are most important to you. So here are the steps in order to help you with regaining control over distractions. So your first step is to really think about, what do I really want? Ask yourself that question. What do you really want? And what's the one thing, and it may be multiple, but pick one major area of your life that you really want to improve. What is it that you want to see happen? Okay. And then the next thing is to assign a priority to the distractions that take you away from that primary purpose as to what you want. Okay, so for example, you might take, if you know that you want to make a bunch more money this year, so that you can start living a life that you desire, then what you would do is you would assign a priority to the things that will help you achieve that desire, that amount of money that you want. So maybe number one priority would be something that's going to move the dial very quickly for you. A number 5 priority would be something that is really just a distraction. You don't need to be doing it on a regular basis because it's not driving the dial or moving you towards your goal. So if you make a list of the things that you already are doing in your life that might potentially be distracting you from your goal, then what's going to happen is you're very clearly going to see some things you may need to eliminate or reduce the amount of time that you spend on that so that you can achieve your goal. So, and then the third thing is frame your desire into action items, so actionable steps that you can take in order to start focusing and eliminating those distractions. So I made some notes below so that I could kind of help explain this better. And that is, instead of saying, okay, I have to eat less bad food. All right, so we're going back to the example of maybe somebody wants to lose weight. I have to eat less bad food. Start with the premise of what you want. So really the premise is you want to weigh 30 pounds less than you do. Okay, so it's not so much bad food. If you focus on bad food, it kind of defeats your enthusiasm and your motivation, because a lot of us, we love the taste of some things that aren't healthy for us. I mean, let's be honest, sugary snacks and salty things, our bodies seem to want that stuff, even though it's not good for us. So if you want to weigh 30 pounds less than you do, it changes your focus. So notice you don't frame this as lose 30 pounds. Instead, I frame it as weigh 30 pounds less. And then instead of focusing on eating less, you focus on eating exactly what is appropriate to weigh 150 pounds, for example. I just threw out that number. Let's say you weigh almost 200 pounds, then this maybe is a goal that you would like to achieve if that's within your fitness ratio for your height and weight. So if you're focusing on the steps to get to your desired result, it becomes easier to focus, instead of just a broad term that you just have to eat less bad food, because there's no action items there. It's just telling you I need to do this, but you're probably not going to eat less bad food if that's your goal. But if you say my goal is to weigh 30 pounds less, then you will focus on steps necessary to get there. I hope this is making sense and helping you. So really it comes down to, and there's only 4 steps to doing what I'm sharing with you today, is focusing on what you do want, not on what you don't want. And by focusing on what you do want, it becomes easier to make choices that'll help get you to what you do want. It's just the nature of the way our brains work, and the way that our motivation works is by when we give ourselves positive reinforcement on what we do want, instead of negative reinforcement on what we don't want, what we don't have, what we don't seem to be able to do. Then what happens, that positive reinforcement allows us to achieve our goals much more quickly. All right, so I'm going to give you some real life examples today, and I will flip the screen back around because I think it'd be helpful for us to just talk one-on-one and share how you can start eliminating those distractions and truly achieving some of the goals you might have. We're going to start off with a goal. Let's say that you had a goal to create an online coaching program in 90 days. Okay, you had 90 days in which you wanted to have your own online course that you could sell, and you'd create it one time and then you would start bringing in revenue. Well, look at your schedule first of all. You want to create this in 90 days. How much time do you have per day to focus on creating that coaching program? Well, let's say that you're like me and you're a parent and you got kids and you got all other responsibilities. You maybe only have 4 hours per day that you can really focus on doing this along with your other responsibilities. So that's 4 hours times 20 days a month, excluding weekends, of course. So you've got 80 hours per month. So then you multiply that out by 3 months. So you have 240 hours. So this gives you a real concrete visual of what you have available to you in order to achieve that goal. So you have 240 hours to achieve a goal. So how do you use that time to achieve your goal? So I'm going to give you some examples. Let me flip my screen back around. We're going to talk through this. Okay. Before I talk through it, though, let me see who else might have jumped on and joined me today. I know that it is a holiday here in the U.S., so a lot of folks may be watching this as a recording because of the holiday, and that's fine. No worries. Okay, so yeah, so let me go ahead and start talking through this. So number one, here's what goes on is you want to create this coaching course, right? So when you want to create a coaching course, you start asking yourself questions. Is it going to be worth your time? For you to create, work 4 hours per day on creating this coaching course. Is it going? How much will you sell it for? So you need to start answering those questions. Put them down on paper and start mapping out all of the different scenarios to give you the motivation to continue. So would it be worth it? So compare it to the last 90 days of your life. And I am looking at notes. If you see my eyes darting around, it's because I'm looking at some of my notes here as well. So, compare your last 90 days in which maybe you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve. How is the next 90 days going to be more valuable to you? How are those days going to change your life? If you want to produce your own course and have your own revenue stream, you need to compare it and then look at it as, what is it going to take to accomplish what you set out to accomplish? What were the distractions that prevented you from accomplishing this in the past? Are you answering a lot of emails? Are you on the web more than normal? Are you replying to people's texts? Are you on the phone a lot? Are you surfing for the web all the time, trying to look for new ways to make money or looking for new traffic sources? So these are all things that are taking you away from your allotted amount of time to achieve your goals. So, then the question comes back to, was it worth it? If you're letting all of those things distract you, is it worth it? And your answer should be no, because if you haven't achieved your goal as of yet, then those things that are distracting you are not worth it. And so you need to start shearing or cutting things off in your life that are not helping you achieve your goal. So would it be worth it to you if you didn't read a single email for 90 days? And I don't know if that's possible for you, but if you knew for a fact that if you worked on your coaching program that we use as an example, and you were going to earn more in 90 days than you've earned in an entire year, would it be worth it then? I think it would be. And what would happen if you didn't open Skype for 90 days, or you didn't answer the phone while you were working for 90 days, or you unplugged your phone, turned off your messaging system for the time period in which you're working? So what could you accomplish if you eliminated those distractions in your life? Would it be worth it to you? I hope you're saying yes. Okay, a lot of these are kind of rhetorical questions, but when you start thinking, oh, I couldn't do that, think about the outcome the positive outcome that you'll achieve if you do cut back on those things that are distracting you. So here's the question that I ask myself: would it be worth it not to do all the things that keep you distracted? Okay. If it's worth it to you, and you know for a fact that you can build something great in 90 days, it becomes much easier to put it all into perspective for you. So once you've determined that you could live without those certain things for 90 days and have a better result, then it becomes so much easier to delegate them to somebody else, or to give that time of yours to something more productive. For instance, those 20 minutes a day that you might save from not surfing on Facebook or answering emails could be spent working and getting more done so that you can actually achieve the goals that you set out to achieve. So there's a couple of objections that I often get when I start talking to some of my students about eliminating distractions. And the first one that I get a lot is, well, I have to answer those emails and text, or they won't buy from me. People won't buy from me. How am I going to know if somebody's interested if I don't answer those emails and text and stay connected on Messenger? Well, I'll tell you what, if you're doing less than $5,000 a month, then it should only take about 10 minutes to answer all your subscriber questions each day. Even if you do it in one sitting, and only reply to each person once per day. Okay? And you should get really good, because you know that the things they're going to ask you. And here's the thing: if you're doing more than $5,000 a month in your business, then it shouldn't take more than 30 minutes a day. And plus, once you start doing more than a certain amount, you can start delegating answering emails to an assistant. You can afford an assistant then. So like, for instance, maybe when you reach $10,000 a month, you outsource, for maybe $500 a month to somebody who all they do is sit around and answer emails and do those things that are not money-making activities for you. All right. So, one of the things I say is, if you look closely at your success, only about 5% of them are coming from people who ask questions. All right. But if you are spending 2 hours a day answering emails and texts and messengers, and then you're only spending 25% of your time on your revenue making opportunity, wouldn't it be better if you were doing something else that would increase your productivity, maybe up to 2 hours per day, instead of spending that time answering emails and text and surfing around on Facebook? Your total success would go up, and you would be better if you were not spending time on things that weren't making you money and improving your life. Okay, I hope that this is hitting home for you. So if you really start evaluating where you're spending your time, it's on things that are not moving you forward towards your goal. So here's another example. This comes from an internet marketing student of mine, and that is, they feel like they have to read all the emails that other marketers are sending to them so that they can stay on top of all the new things in the marketplace, and new ways to drive traffic. So here's the question: how has that strategy been working for you? That's what I asked my student, because you see, if that's what you've been doing, but you aren't taking action and making the amount of money that you'd like to, then wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it make sense to stop reading about all the strategies and just take action on one of them? And then once you start building a solid foundation, then you can start expanding and adding additional strategies to your traffic source. All right, so, and if you can't make money with a one foundation, basic way of bringing in traffic, then you really have no business of trying out a new source of traffic if you can't even make it with a tried and true source that that's been around for a while. All right, so stop trying new things all the time just because you think that's going to make you more successful. And this one kind of hits home to me, because when I first started, I was literally trying all sorts of new things, thinking that that's what I had to do. I had to learn all this stuff first in order to be successful in my business and in my life. In reality, I just needed to choose one method and stay focused on that and just learn as much as I possibly could about that method so that I could start bringing in regular traffic every single day. So in all likelihood, if you're spreading out your resources, then you are not going to have success in any one of them, right? So you need to focus on just one specific strategy that you're going to use in order to grow your business and get really good at it. All right, so I'm hoping that this is helping you. So maybe at this point you're thinking, okay, I get it now. You want to learn the way to run a business the way that I do so that you can have success. Well, I want to invite you to go ahead and click on the button down below. You'll see where you can join Team Tough. We have a special Team Tough Revolution Facebook group where I am stockpiling videos such as this for folks like you so that you can get started in an online business. I want to share with you that today was kind of a magical day for me. I had a big sale today in my business while I was actually dropping my sons off at a friend's house because we're going to be having a 4th of July party later, and they wanted to go there early. And while I was driving, I got a text, and I was stopped. I was at a light. We were getting ready to buy some fireworks, and the text said that one of my students had just bought one of the high-end packages in my business. And all this happened while I'm driving, nothing's going on, and I suddenly made a really nice commission. I don't like to share money figures for you, but let's just say it's more than most people make in an entire week, and I got it in one day. All right, so it was kind of neat to see that come through. And I'm not saying this to brag, I'm just saying what's possible when you structure your business a certain way and you start eliminating distractions and really go about achieving the goals that you've had for your life. Does that make sense? I'm so excited because I love sharing information with folks like you so that you can have success too. Because it's not just exclusive to certain people to have success and to be able to build the life of their dreams. The type of things that I do and that many of my students do is something that can be taught, it can be learned, and you can experience success as well. So if you're interested in learning more about what I do, then I challenge you to go ahead and visit my Facebook page, get in contact with me, and I'll be happy to introduce you to the Team Tough program that I'm a part of. And I do teach my entire system from A to Z, including how I get traffic to my business, how you can create your own products, or you can use products that we already have in order to grow a business. How you can have emails, write your own emails, and even use some of the templates that I've used to write emails that go out to my potential customers. And I show you the back end and long-term automation processes and how you can make money from those processes. So I can say all of this with confidence that if you like what you've been hearing from me on these down and dirty calls, then we should get connected, because what I offer could potentially change your life and your business. And that's really what my passion is helping people like you to make your dreams finally come true. So go ahead, click the button below, and I look forward to meeting you. And again, if you have any questions on how you can eliminate those distractions in your life, comment down below, and I will be reading those and answering those as we go along. So before I close out, I'm going to check and see if we have any questions that came through. Looks like it might be kind of a quiet crowd today, which is fine. But I just wanted you guys to know that I appreciate you, and happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day, and may you find freedom in your life. Take care.